Here's your fight news for October the 11th.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion.
Not even backstage, we're literally outside. Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because...
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tinley. October 11th is day of recording. We've got a lot to talk about, so, let's bloody get into it in Australia and world MMA involving Australians. What's this? That's just a tag for a brand new t-shirt. They'll be available soon. Dana White Contender Series. Unfortunately, our great flyweight bout, Sean Gauci taking on Anthony Drilich. Unfortunately, none of the boys got to really showcase exactly who they are and kind of how dangerous they can be. And I feel like Mr. Dana White woke up on the wrong side of the bed as he was not impressed. And despite Sean Gauci taking out the decision victory over Anthony Drilich, neither got signed, which is really sad news for UFC fans, but kind of glad news for us in a weird way, because they will probably both come back to Australian MMA. Look, it's unfortunate for Sean Gauci because, who does he fight now type thing. Stuart Nichols in the UFC. I don't think they'd rematch each other, himself and Anthony Drilich, but I'm just going to throw this out here. If Anthony Drilich and Sean Gauci rematch somewhere, don't care where, one of them sparks the other one, do you just send that back to Dana and go, you think we both have a future? Because you did say that. And you go, what do you think? What do you think? So, I don't know. If someone could make that fight, that would be delightful. Or we will just keep passing out the visas and we will keep bringing in opponents for both of them. So we'll see how it turns out. Oh, also, shout out to the final Australian up for a contract next week. The final episode of Dana White Contender Series for this year, Jono Micallef, which kind of came out of nowhere. No one really kind of saw. We knew he was of that quality and he was that good. We just didn't think, he would get signed, and especially that quickly too. So, I mean, he's definitely in the running for comeback fighter of the year because, he went down in a near fight of the year before Kevin Cophamel and Harry Webb joined on the scene with Alden Bates earlier on in the year. And so to lose his belt and then kind of battle back, and if he gets a contract next week and gets signed to the UFC, I mean, that's pretty special. So look, guys, I'll be tuning in for that. I think it goes down 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on Wednesday on UFC Fight Pass. So check it out. Rogue MMA 7 happening right now at Melbourne Pavilion. Or, if you're watching this, it's probably already happened. There is no live stream of the event. It is the great Simon Carson, who runs MA1 Combat and Absolute MMA. I can't tell you right now, but it's going to be replayed and it's 95%, I think, a done deal on a pretty impressive platform. So you might not get to see it live, but look, you will get a chance. Might even be on YouTube, so stick around. But the results will be posted, so keep an eye out for that. Standouts on the card, the number one fight that you want to watch, definitely on that card, is Val Sharapov taking on Ali Volders. That's probably the most competitive, the most important fight for me. Of course, Raja Shippen's on there. He's always super exciting. Khan Husmek and Jesse Medina. Khan Husmek, you'll see on Australian MMA _ and of course all the other socials. He weighed in with a phone on his head, so you can see a point of view, like how the PFL does it with the ref, like a ref cam. It was like a weighing cam. It was ridiculous. It was funny, but it was ridiculous. Love Khan, great guy. Actually really, really talented guy. He's probably one of the scariest guys at 0-2. So shout out to Jesse Medina, who's 15-15 or something, 15-14 for taking that fight and vice versa. So that's going to be an entertaining fight as well. And of course, Ashlinka Rachawolski taking on Winnie G Unit, Winona Greenhull out of Infinite MMA. So that's going to be very exciting as well. They've fought 47 times. So this will be the 48, but it's pro. So, looking forward to it. Either way, guys, go check it out. Go Rogue MMA Instagram if you want to know more. Big news for Eternal MMA going back to back. Same weekend, 2 huge fight cards. Eternal MMA 90 Nearly said 80. There's just so many of them. Eternal MMA 90 and Eternal MMA 91. The main events for those cards. David Martinez finally making his way up to welterweight to bring out another man that does not like to cut weight. Brenton Mumford out of retirement. So two massive lightweights, which probably could have been welterweights anyway. Both welterweights. So they're going to kind of throw down the main event. I like that Eternal MMA has kind of stuck true with David Martinez and kind of, because he's a great guy and he's tremendously talented, but good on them for kind of getting him out of lightweight. Now, if he misses weight at welterweight, I quit. Not David quits, I quit. I'm done. I won't do this channel anymore. David Martinez, if you miss weight at welterweight, I quit. I'm just done. Brenton Mumford, absolute stud. Both former champions. Brenton Mumford has kind of fought anyone and everyone, and he's one of those guys that was on the cusp but kind of was never going to get his shot at the next level, but is, in terms of Australian MMA, absolute legend. So that's going to be a very good one as well. And then, of course, the card after, Eternal 91, finally is going to happen. John Martin Fraser, who has been calling this man out for many a year, versus Darcy Vendy. Darcy Vendy holds a victory over Jack Della. That's right, UFC ranked Jack Della. Darcy Vendy, everyone is in agreement, is an absolute superstar, absolute stud. But we just, the guys he was fighting, we're like, why? This didn't make any sense. He should have been fighting the absolute top of the top of the top. I don't know. It had something to do with like his record, a plan. It was, look, forget about all that sort of stuff. Darcy Vendy is an absolute stud. And this Martin Fraser versus Vendy fight should probably be a title fight, depending on what Ben Johnston decides to do. Ben Johnston, of course, the Eternal MMA middleweight champion and head coach of Darcy Vendy. So if Ben Johnston stuck around and wanted to continue to fight on the Australian scene, I think he's still hanging out for the UFC and he bloody deserves it. But if he wanted to do that, they would never fight. So I can only imagine that whatever happens, if Darcy Vendy wins, I'm assuming Ben Johnston goes ladders. So we will see. We've got Beatdown Promotions next week. That's going to be interesting. Look, good fighters on there. Nothing that kind of jumps out at you in terms of like Australian MMA stuff. They got some internationals, but look, a Paul Logar fight is always fun. Of course, Max Kelly is fun. That was, of course, the fight card that was going to include Joseph Luciano versus Jack James for the welterweight title. Which is now not happening. Jack James also, I believe, injured, so he's not on the card. But yeah, check that out. It'll be free on YouTube next week. Check it out. Love supporting Damian Brown and the team. Jett Fisher has finally got an opponent. Jett Fisher, the first man ever signed exclusively to Hex Fight Series. He'll be taking on Oscar Marlowe, who's another guy making his debut. And he's a nice young fighter from what I'm told, but Jett Fisher is definitely going to be very, very special. So he's a man that you want to keep an eye on. But yeah, Hex Fight Series, November 23. That fight is officially out. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what's next for Jett Fisher and how he goes there. And Oscar Marlowe definitely knows he's coming in as the quote-unquote B-side to sort of shock everyone. Jett Fisher coming in with a lot of praise and a lot of hype. So let's see if he can live up to it November 23rd. Speaking of Hex Fight Series fighters, Kasib Murdoch and Colby Thicknesse doing this little weird thing that they do where they go on holiday, but also like add to their record. They're heading over to Bali to fight at Kangaroo Fight Night 32. October 27th. I was looking at going over there. It would have been just a fun time just to sort of check it out. Look, both those boys are going to win their fights. Let's be real. Without, zero disrespect to the hard-trained Indonesian athletes. But look, Colby Thicknesse, Kasib Murdoch, other levels. They probably shouldn't be fighting on that card. Or if, they should be fighting much tougher guys. They're both already, if Colby's not number one with everyone moving on, then Kasib Murdoch, who's very close to being one of the top guys in the featherweight already. But look, it almost feels like a warm-up fight, but congratulations already, because I'm assuming they're going to win. And good luck to them, October 27th. I don't think you can see it. They might have a stream. I don't know. I'll keep you updated. Australian MMA _ on Instagram. Oh, shout out as while we're on it. Freestyle MMA. I think Joe Lopez put up the other day that Alex Volkanovski's first fight 12 years ago to the day. So check that out, Freestyle MMA, if you want a little trip down memory lane. Demolition Fight Series news. They have another professional fight announced for Demolition Fight Series 16. It's going to be, I think it's on November 16 as well. Daniel Mercurio versus Terence Tadabois at bantamweight. So that's going to be a fun fight. I can't imagine Wayne Carr would ever not book an exciting fight, but definitely put November 16th in your calendar. Demolition Fight Series. You know, the pro fight is cool, but the amateurs is kind of who you get to see is going to be the next stud. Jett Fisher fought on the last card. You know, that's where the controversial fight came against Kwame Osei. But look, you get to see those types of guys, and then he goes and gets exclusively signed by Hex. So you can find all the next sort of crop of stars coming through Demolition Fight Series. Finally, I think that is everything up until this week. If I missed anything, please abuse me, Australian MMA _. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube first before you go to town. But look, if I haven't missed anything, let me know. In terms of the UFC this weekend, UFC Fight Night, October 13th, 7:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, 3 hours ahead of Perth, where I am, 4:30 Australian Western Standard Time. Cody Haddon will be taking on Dan Aguilera. And of course, Junior Tafa will be taking on, who's the guy he's taking on? What's his name? Sean Sheriff, who's like stepped in for Chris Barnett, who couldn't be there because of, I think he lives in Florida, and there's like that hurricane going on. So both those boys will be competing UFC Fight Night. Make sure you support them. Like I said, 7:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on UFC Fight Pass. Check it out. Junior Tafa loves a good knockout. Cody Haddon, you know, won on Dana White Contender Series 2 months ago. And in under 2 months, he's already got his first fight. And trust me, I'm going to bet the house he's going to spark the guy in one round. So no disrespect, Mr. Dan Aguilera. I know you check out this page sometimes. It's weird, but I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, check it out. Like I said, anything else, let me know. YouTube, Australian MMA, if you're not already on there. Podcast, Spotify, Instagram, like, subscribe, do your thing, do your jam. Other than that, I'll see you next time.